how to identify your sustainability niche to protect your energy, because as Rahab mentioned, it is really easy to get burned out on all of the things that we should be doing and all of the things that like we want to be doing. So how can you help move sustainability forward with limited energy? And I'm really intentionally saying, how can you help move sustainability forward rather than saying, how can you solve climate change or how can you fix your community? Because these are really big, huge conversations that may or may not like ever honestly be resolved, especially in the United States where we're like pretty slow to change on a lot of things. So the question for me is, how can I help move sustainability forward? Not how I can solve anything or fix anything or like invent something that will fix everything, but just how can I help this conversation? How can I benefit this conversation? So the first one is be honest about your energy levels and the time that you can commit to whatever your sustainability advocacy looks like. Because if you go in trying to post like once a week and you don't already post once a week and you're going from 0 to posting once a week, that might not be realistic for you. Or if you go from not volunteering at all to saying, I'm going to volunteer every single weekend, that might not be realistic for you. So being honest about how much energy and time you have for however you'd like to be involved in sustainability is really important. The second thing is to assess your strengths. So this looks like really just kind of an assessment or an accountability of what am I good at in terms of the sustainability movement? Am I awesome at making social media content? Am I great at leading in-person habitat restoration projects? Are you good at writing grants? And if you can't think of any, and a lot of times, especially when I talk to women in business, they are very slow to identify their own strengths and slow to identify the things that they're great at. And that's because of cultural conditioning and kind of being told to minimize who we are. And so I encourage people to think about the compliments that you get in your day-to-day life or in your work. Do people tell you that you're really good at making reels? Do people tell you that you're really good at teaching kids about sustainability and getting them excited about it? Or do they tell you maybe that your writing resonates with them? Whatever it is, you have special talents and you have things that you're good at. And so if you're questioning that, and if you're wondering, I don't know what that is, this is a great place to take some time and dive deeper and give yourself permission to not be humble and to genuinely identify the things that you're really good at. Because if you can't do that, it's hard to know where you can best be in these spaces, and not just in sustainability, but really in any effort in life. If you can't say, I'm really good at X, I'm not as good at Y, it's hard to know like exactly how to spend your energy. So if you struggle with that, maybe sit down and take some time to identify your strengths. The third one is to be honest about what platforms you're willing and excited to use. So this could be Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok. This could be posting tutorials on YouTube, writing or blogging. It could be word of mouth, where you see yourself as kind of like a word of mouth advocate, where you just like to talk to people about things. And then on the other hand, it could be doorbelling for green politicians. People who doorbell are amazing to me. Like, it's such a skill. It's such a labor of love. I think it's amazing when people have the capacity to do that. So figuring out what platforms you're interested in using and you have the energy to use is really important in figuring out your niche. The next one is thinking about your sustainability habits or projects, however imperfect they are, and thinking about which of these bring you joy to do and which of you brings them joy to talk about with your friends or clients. So for example, I love talking to people about regrowing vegetables from scraps. It's like such a little thing. It's not some big thing, sustainability thing that's going to save the world, but I love regrowing vegetables. I think it's so fun, and I think it's like a really cool thing to do. And so I'm always like finding a way to fit it into conversations. So it's just like one silly example, but what things light you up? What are you excited about? What things do you think like you have created some really special hacks for that maybe other people don't know about? Those kinds of things can help guide what your sustainability niche is. So then once you've established these 4 things, and again, I will send these to you, you can use them to check in and see what's a combination of most joyful and most effective to spend your energy. For example, if you love making upcycled craft but hate making videos, a YouTube channel is probably not going to be a very good fit for you, and you will burn out really quickly. But maybe you could write a blog and take pictures and post pictures of these upcycled crafts, or maybe you could volunteer at a local children's museum to get kids really excited about upcycled crafts and creating those kinds of things for the holidays. The next step is I encourage my clients to do this in so many different contexts, on a personal level, on a business level, but to create a sustainability elevator pitch. So what this means is essentially you're kind of creating a mantra in your head. I can help move sustainability forward by. And then you answer that question based on the 5 things that we did right before that. And so for me, my sustainability elevator pitch is something to the effect of, I can help move sustainability forward by connecting local businesses, which reduces emissions and builds economic resiliency. So this is not like how I'm going to solve sustainability or how I'm going to make the entire world a better place, but it's how can you help move the sustainability conversation forward. So for me, I'm super passionate about connecting local businesses. That's where this event got its origins. That's what most of my events that were in person before the pandemic were focused on, is getting people to connect, because it can reduce the emissions for all of your materials use and things like that, but also it creates economic resiliency in downtimes like the pandemic. So your sustainability elevator pitch and your sustainability niche don't need to be world-changing actions, but we can influence our communities and be an example and share knowledge. So figuring out the best way to share the knowledge that you have is key to being an advocate on a day-by-day basis without burning out.